Westbrook, of course, bought out by the Utah Jazz, is going to join, reportedly, Rob, the L.A. Clippers.
This is what we said. Remember, we thought that this was going to happen. We talked about
this. This is the only one to me that makes sense. Miami, Chicago, Washington. I mean, really? Why? And I'm not saying what, because none of those teams were going to win a championship, or maybe Miami might have won a round in the playoffs. Maybe. I'm not even sure about that. Washington and Chicago, no way they're getting out of the first round, with or without Russell Westbrook. And so why go ahead and sign him? I know it's not expensive, but still, why go through the hassle? But for the Clippers, Rob, and I'm not saying this puts them over the top. I think all things being equal, everybody being healthy, Phoenix is clearly, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy for them, but they're the best team in the West on paper. Heck, they should win the championship on paper. So I think they're the clear favorite in the West. But after them, Rob, I give the Clippers as good a chance as anybody. I mean, people may like Denver, which I get, but I think the Clippers right now, with Golden State not playing well, I think they would be right there in that group right below Phoenix and have a shot. And I like the addition of Westbrook, Rob. I think that they should bring him off the bench. Right now, they got Terrence Mann playing point. He's not a point guard. We get that.
He's just kind of filling in, holding that spot.
But they kind of play a point guardless, at least they have recently. And they've been playing well. They've won 10 out of their last 14. They've moved to the 4th seed in the West. Kawhi can handle it when he needs to. Paul George can obviously handle it. So I think they should keep this group, Rob, and then have Russ come off the bench and be Russ. They got great shooting. Kawhi shooting 38% from three. George, Marcus Morris are shooting 38% from three. Terrence Mann is like 39% from three. Norman Powell's over 40%. Like,
wow.
They have the shooting where Russ can do his thing, kick it out to the shooters, and I think they'll be good. Here's the one thing I don't want from Russ if I'm the Clippers. And everybody's talking about, will he start? If you're going to start him, fine. I don't really care. But to me, Rob, I'm not saying he can't finish here or there if he's got it going. But that's what scares me about Russ, is him finishing games. Because he's not a good decision maker. And so if the ball is in his hands, then he's going to make some errors late in the game. And he's going to play the last 2 minutes like it's the first 15 minutes.
And you can't
he doesn't
like
really adjust the time and score, right? And here's the thing, though, Rob. If the ball isn't in his hands, he can't shoot. So you put him in the corner, they're just going to back off of him and hope you pass it to him and dare him to shoot. Right.
Right.
So
absolutely.
My thing, I'm more concerned about not having him in the finishing lineup for the most part. I mean, a game here or there, he might be fine, than having him in the starting lineup.
How about where's his head, Chris, on just what's happened to him the last 6 years? Or do you has he wrapped his head around like where he went from from playing at OKC, Paul George was there, like from going from there to now bouncing around? What is this, 5 teams in 6 years?
Well, let's see. He was OKC to Houston to Washington.
That's 3.
To the Lakers.
That's 4.
To the Clippers.
No, Utah 5, and now the Clippers.
Oh,
6.
Utah, right. But he won't play for them.
No, right. But I'm just saying, but he's been with 6 organizations.
Right.
That's crazy.
He's had to have been humbled. But I also think he seems like the type of guy that doesn't really worry about what other people think. I mean, we all can be bothered by that to some degree, and I think he was bothered by the Westbrook stuff and all that. He said
he definitely got bothered by that.
Right, he was bothered by that. But I just think you look at the trajectory of his career. I mean, he wasn't highly touted out of UCLA. He's always had criticism of his game, and yet he's gone on and done what he does.
Top 75.
Kevin Durant leaves him, right? And he's gone on and does what he does. So I think he'll, again, he's probably been humbled. And to be honest, maybe he needed to be humbled a bit. You know, a lot of these guys could stand to be humbled. So
and I'm gonna say this,
that could
Chris,
help him.
Ty Lue will do what's right with him. Ty Lue is a good coach.
Absolutely.
I think he'll get Russ into the situation that they need him. I'm sure there was a lot of conversation prior to this happening.
Well, they definitely were talking. Yeah.
Am I right?
Reportedly, they went over all of the,
right.
You know, what his role's going to be.
So when you come
agree.
here, we don't want to be no belly aching about whatever.
You're not Kawhi or Paul George.
This is what it is.
Yep.
Are you interested in doing this? If you aren't interested, please don't.
Right.
We don't have to make a deal. I think
I'm sure they talked to him, Rob, about if you come off the bench, are you good with that?
Right. If you're not, we don't want to. We're not going to sign you because we don't want any issues.
If you're not playing the last 6 minutes of a game, are you good with that? You know, are you going to be okay with that? We had Brad Turner on, Rob, last week from the LA Times, who covers the Lakers. He said, you know, if they won a game and Russ didn't play late, he was bothered in the locker room. If they lost the game but he had a triple-double, he was cheery. You can't have that. And that's the thing, Rob. If if he's showing any of that, and I'm not saying he will, but if he is showing any of that, even if he doesn't say anything, if he's showing a bad attitude, like, man, I ain't played tonight, I'm up, you know, I'm getting rid of him. But I do like the signing. I like his energy, Rob. I like his toughness. I mean, when you look at Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Westbrook, I mean, that's a team that's got some attitude, which I kind of like.
Yep. And you need a little attitude, a little moxie, Chris, to make a run and whatnot. So I like the move, and I think you're right. They've talked to him. They've got him to accept the role. And I think most players want to know, what am I doing? You know, how do I fit in? That's it. And if you deviate from that where you don't know, one game I didn't play at all, one game I played 30 minutes, one game I played the first 5 minutes and didn't see the floor, that's when they get frustrated and get mad, when they don't know.
That's right. All right, 877-99 on Fox. It's your turn to weigh in. Do you like Russell Westbrook with the Clippers, or do you think it's a disaster? Bad move by the Clippers. Your turn to weigh in with Chris and Rob, the odd couple. Your turn to weigh in. Will Russell Westbrook work with the Clippers? Your turn. Right, Chris, your thoughts.
Let's kick it off with, let's start with Kyle in Houston. You're on the odd couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, Kyle?
What up, fellas? How you doing, gentlemen? I hope all is well.
Doing good.
Good. Yeah, Russell Westbrook, I think I'm lukewarm about the move. I think if he knows his role, if it's a bench player and they had the talks that you guys discussed earlier, that he knows exactly what his role is and, you know, there's no complaining in the locker room after, I think it's a solid move. I just wonder what the Clippers are. Like, they really have that identity. They got Kawhi Leonard, who's about Kawhi. He's a smart guy. I mean, it feels like he's just in the NBA, clocking in, clocking out, like, take my money and I'm done. Do these dudes care about championships? I know Russ cares. So that's what I think is good there is I hope that he can rub off on, hey, I need a championship. Kawhi already got one. Paul George doesn't have one, but I can't tell if he really wants one or if he's just also kind of like a Kawhi, just clocking in, clocking out.
I think he wants one. I mean, remember when Kawhi got hurt? He led them to the Western Conference Finals. I know they lost. I think he wants to win. I hear your point, Chris. But I
think he's right. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I also think that Westbrook. I mean, he's from L.A. I know it's not the Lakers. Didn't turn out to his dream return home, but there's something there to play for, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, LA kid, I think, is the best thing going. Oh, excuse me.
I do think he's right, though, Rob, in that I don't know. And again, I think after Phoenix, they're in the hunt. They're right there. But I don't feel like they have an identity. I don't think they've been healthy enough to have an identity.
Yeah,
like it's just like
enough. Right.
They feel like a bunch of mercenaries. We're just here to come together and win and see what we can do. But I don't know. They don't feel that much like a team to me. You know, the Lakers, even though they're not very good, they got LeBron. That's their identity. You know, the Suns, like Chris Paul's the leader. Like, who's their leader? Kawhi's very quiet. Paul George, I mean, they're good, but they just don't seem to have an identity.
They're a
I agree
three-point
with him
shooting
on
team.
that.
But you're right. I would agree. But they, like you said, they've
They're
been playing
good,
better
but
of late.
yeah.
10
Right.
of their last 14. We'll see what happens. How about Roberto in Palm Springs? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What up, Roberto?
Oh, my God. Am I really on?
You're on.
You're really on, brother.
Oh, I've been listening to you guys since the beginning 3 years ago. And Mr.
you
Broussard,
serious?
Mr. Parker.
Thank you, man.
I finally got on. I can't believe it.
Good to have you.
Yes, we appreciate the support, too. Thank you so much, Roberto.
So my opinion is Westbrook has showed us exactly what type of person he is. His stance on things, the way he's going to react, you might say. Whenever there's resistance or whatnot, he's not going to do the right thing, at least as far as the team is concerned. He's going to do what he thinks is good for him, but it's usually not good for everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you've heard conflicting reports, Rob. There are some that say he's great with teammates and players, and Paul George swears by him. Paul George had his best season of his career with him,
Chris,
and wanted to stay in OKC. I mean, he ultimately left for Kawhi, but, you know, he initially signed on to stay there. Kawhi wants him. But then, of course, there were reports that in L.A. he was, you know, trouble in the locker room. So, I don't know. I look, if they're looking for Russell Westbrook to come in, Rob, and be like the third prong of a real big three, I don't think he's going to do that. I think you have to look at him as a role player. Now, he may be a role player to give you 15 and 7.
I think that they've already told him,
right,
this is Kawhi and Paul George.
Right. As long as that's the case, I think they could be all right. But, right, yeah, he's not a big three. And he thought that's what it was going to be in L.A., Rob, with the Lakers.
Right. And it was
so that can make it tougher to handle.
Let's go to Aaron in Baton Rouge. Aaron, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Yep. What's up, Aaron?
Not too much. I think it's a good move for the Clippers and Westbrook. Like you said, I think they don't really have an identity, but they do have like a ton of tough guys that'll play. So I think if Russ comes in, you know, plays his role, obviously Coach Lou getting him on board, making sure he's mentally there, ready to, you know, play within the system. I think it'll be great because I actually think Westbrook can help most of those, you know, Western teams that are looking to, you know, compete for a championship. I just don't think the Lakers will even really competing for a championship with their pieces because, you know, AD's always out, LeBron's in and out with his, you know, injuries and stuff like that. So I think it could be a good help for both sides to be, you know, play how he should play.
I agree that the Lakers, I mean, the Clippers are a better team than the Lakers. I don't think Russ could help every Western Conference or Eastern Conference contender.
Not every,
I think he's a special fit. You know, like, Rob, again, it's like Allen Iverson. You saw him in Detroit. Iverson wasn't going to fit everywhere. It's a special fit for Westbrook, and I do think this one can work. We said from day one, heck, from the time the rumors were out,
Chris,
that he might go to the Lakers, that this is I thought it was, there's no way that's true. There's no way that can be true.
I remember you were in disbelief because you were
I was like, come on. What?
This doesn't make sense.
They know more basketball than that. But
Aaron,
with the Clippers, I think it could work. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Let's squeeze in Andre real quick. Up in Massachusetts, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. Dre, what you got on this?
Yeah, how you doing? Thanks for taking the call. Listen, Westbrook to the Clippers can work based on the fact that they have very strong institutional framework, with Steve Ballmer being the richest owner in team sports and Ty Lue. But the bottom line is this: the Clippers have so much depth. They also brought in Bones Highland. They have a million, 2, 3, 4 players. You know, you talk about Brandon Boston, Trey Mann, Luke Kennard. They got Nicholas Batum. It just goes on. And their theory is they're just going to stockpile assets in this kind of arms race and hope that with that institutional support, Ty Lue and his strategic, his strategic edge, they can win in the postseason. So as soon as Russ goes off the reservation, they have 3 or 4 other guys they can immediately plug in and they don't really lose much. The question for the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, richest owner, they're building a new facility, is will it work this year because their window is closing? This Kawhi Paul George experiment, they really have one more year specifically with the Suns, and so that's why this Westbrook move, it's all or nothing for the Clippers, I feel, because another year of the same thing, we've seen it for 3 or 4 years, and they haven't got it done. So I admire them for rolling the dice. Thanks for taking the call.
No doubt.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Good call, Andre.